Well, welcome. A little bit of a different set of industries from the last session. This time we're talking about essential services, both in the energy sector and in the broadband sector. So why don't we start in a similar type of way? Would love to get some quick introductions of yourself, your organization, and what you do. Jared, let me start with you.
Sure. So I'm from AGL. I'm within the operations space, and I'm currently working on the Retail Next project, where we're introducing Appian. I've been with AGL now for almost 12 years. So started within their business performance space and continued on that journey, looking for ways we can deliver better value for our customers. So I'm really excited about this journey.
Great. Tara.
Hi everyone, I'm Tara Richards. I'm the General Manager of Technology at AGL. And super excited to be in energy. Who would have thought we'd say that? Suddenly it's an industry that has absolutely everyone talking. So my role within that is actually a great journey.
Great, thank you. Randy, I feel like we're old friends by now. All the opportunity we've had to talk. You mentioned Tara in the energy space. I think everybody understands that as an essential service. The gas line to my house 2 weeks ago broke. And I was out of gas, which of course fuels the stove, and then 3 days worth of a cold shower. I think you get an appreciation for the whole energy sector in general. What's interesting in your space, Arania, not to take away from your intro here, but providing broadband services. You think about I think about when I started my career, there was really no such thing as broadband services, and you think about the essential nature of it. I get a text from my daughter at 3:30 in the morning, which was, "Yo, Dad, the Wi-Fi is down," and God forbid you can't get on your TikTok at that time, right? So it has become such an essential part of our life, and I think really a great equalizer. But we'd love to hear about you and your journey at NGN.
Hi everybody, I'm Arania. I'm a senior manager at NBN. I've been with NBN now for about 11 years. Some people might say it might be too long, but I love the company. As most of you know, NBN, basically for you, Chris, and you may not know, was established in 2009 by the Commonwealth of Australia. It was basically to design, build and operate a broadband access network to all of Australia. So yes, it is definitely critical. Part of our essential services, there's no doubt about it. Without it, we just can't operate. So,
yeah, and you think very similar to how gas has become, and energy in general, broadband access has become so critical in everything that we do in our everyday lives. So that's great. Well, look, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Tara, I'll start with you. From really an AGL perspective, would be great to hear about where you are in the current state of your priorities and. I know we had talked about I think it was the Retail Next project that you're leading the efforts on. Maybe talk a little bit about how we've been a key partner for that and your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So I might just start from the industry context and talk about what's really happening there. As we mentioned earlier, energy transition. I mean, I wake up every day, get a news feed, and there is some conversation around energy transition. Whether it's politicians looking to attract voters or people like us looking to attract new talent or startups looking to attract funds, we're all talking about energy transition. But when you look at what's actually going on in that space, there are lots of global trends that are coming our way at a rapid pace. These trends have been coming our way for a long time. So you look at things like decarbonisation and the social and environmental element of decarbonisation and the impact it has on climate change. And then you take that to the next level and you look at something like electrification. It's over the last 20 years, we have not seen the demand for energy rise as we are today, and we expect that will be at unprecedented levels. So if you sit back and look at the context of where AGL operates, we have a large role to play in the transition of renewables to renewables rather. We have a large role we have all these trends, technology trends coming our way, consumers demanding different things, and we have energy transition. So if you look at all of that, we've embarked on a transformation program called Retail Next. And effectively what that does is looks at our strategy and how are we going to respond to all these changing market conditions. And fundamentally, it has three core elements of our strategy. One is transition to renewables. Two is around new growth value streams. But three, most importantly, is around laying our foundations and making sure that we're ready to succeed. And in doing so, we kind of have laid out some architectural principles for ourselves, which have been no different to anyone else. I guess the art of all of that is in how we implement it. So what would be fantastic to achieve a 185-year-old organisation with antiquated tech? You know, we want simplification, no different to anyone else. We know legacy exists in our people, our processes and our systems. We want to create sort of modular, seamless, no legacy based architecture, plug and play architecture. We want low code, no code. We want citizen development. We have all these large ambitions, and so we embarked on this journey of working with partners, working with consultants and working with experts in the industry to help us guide where the strategy should be. And we're very confident that we've landed in the right place, and which has essentially led us to Appian being one of our core principles of removing manual work. Kind of really, we look at Appian as a partner where, you know, what we used to do is if a customer wanted to go from the road to the front door, we used to lay out a nice, very nice, beautiful concrete pathway. You've heard this analogy before. What we want to do is kind of move away from that into laying tiles and making it into a modular conversation, such that 2 years down the track we have a new value stream come up and EVs have developed to a different way. We can then remove 2 tiles and make different decisions as opposed to take a jackhammer and replumb the whole thing all over again. So that's really what we're looking for in our partnership with Appian.
Oh, that's great. And I know from speaking with you, you also came from a background many years in the financial services world, and it sounds like this concept of dealing with legacy systems, you're back home dealing with that again, right, in the energy sector?
Absolutely. I think the trick is to not miss that legacy exists only in systems. It's actually in people and processes. So
Yeah.
That's where Appian's helping us the most.
People and processes, that's great. Jared, so I know in our discussions, you get to do all the hard work in actually implementing and making this work. Would love to hear from your perspective. Just how has Appian, been a part of this? How are you leveraging it? And then maybe talk a little bit about what are you expecting to see from a business outcome perspective?
Sure. I'm very excited that we're able to partner with Appian as well as our delivery partner to bring this platform to AGL. We have, as Tara mentioned, very, very big ambitions, and Appian plays a big part in that. I feel very privileged to be here. It's almost like we're the baby. We've only recently just joined the Appian family, so for me, this event is a privilege to learn from what everyone else has done. In terms of what we're looking to leverage from Appian, I think of it in 3 ways. Firstly, we want to see a step change in our automation capability. So we've been on this journey of automation for many years now, and I think through leveraging Appian's workflow and automation, we'll be able to further reduce a lot of the manual work that we have still within the organization, but also reduce many of the frictions that exist across many of our customer journeys. Secondly, we're looking to Appian to orchestrate and monitor a lot of our customer fulfillment processes, thereby ensuring that we continue to deliver on our customer promises. So it will be the engine that supports a lot of our core process. And finally, and probably most importantly, through the Retail Next program, we're introducing a new harmonized CRM platform, and we see the role of Appian being the integrator between the new CRM system and our legacy platform to ensure that we are continuing to not only deliver on our existing products and services, but as Tara mentioned, when a new market becomes available, I believe that it will make it easier with Appian to be able to integrate these new products and services into our system without disrupting the core. I wanted to give an example of how some of the we're looking to unlock some of these outcomes now. So For many of you, moving home is probably one of the core journeys that customers experience. The move home experience can be a stressful one. I know when I moved home last time, I had to juggle lots of different activities, from not only packing, the obvious stuff, organizing cleaning, logistics, but managing the connection services to disconnect the service you have at your current property and organize connections at your next property. Plus all the emotions you go through depending on the state that you are at the time. It's a very, very stressful period. When a customer submits a request to AGL, we want to simplify that and take the complexity away. A lot of the time, we get it right. But sometimes things go wrong, and it generates a lot of exceptions. So one of the core use cases that we're doing at the moment is to replace our legacy platform we have at the moment, how we allocate and manage work. And we're looking to Appian to centralize that, not only so that we can develop simplified and standardized process, but enable us to automate them in the future. However, it's going to take time to build this application. So we need to introduce value fast. Because for me, one of the struggles I've had is explaining to stakeholders, what is Appian? What can it do? How does it deliver value? So we're running a parallel stream where the team will target high volume and high transaction processes where we can quickly use the automation tool to demonstrate the value. One of it is purely using the API to just automate some key decisions. Another one is using the intelligent document process to automate the ingestions of emails. I'm very excited to see how we can bring this value forward.
That's terrific. I love the energy you have around delivering that customer experience. In fact, I think I may give you the number of my utility provider, and it wasn't exactly easy when I called and said, my gas is not on, and they asked, well, what's the problem? So I love that, love the energy you have around delivering that great customer experience. Raina, love to hear from you. I know you were one of the people that really spearheaded the low codes initiatives within NBN and have done some amazing things there. Can you talk a little bit about the journey that you've had and the outcomes that you're seeing and what's been accomplished?
Our journey is completely different. We've been on the journey with Appian now for nearly 7 years. We started off in 2016 where there was, we were looking for a business process management tool to basically provide efficiencies so that we had visibility, we could scale, we could govern, and basically make our internal processes more efficient. Like most of us, if you didn't have a business process management tool, you're probably managing everything in emails, SharePoint, your old CRM systems. I'm sure we're all guilty of this, massive Excel spreadsheets. So we had to veer away from the nature of the work that we were doing. We quickly had to migrate across and start utilising a business process management tool. And Appian basically served our requirements and was able to bridge the technology landscape that we had and with our business, and that was vital. And so it was a no-brainer for us when we acquired Appian back in 2016. We engaged immediately Appian Professional Services at that point in time. We had 2 critical projects running in parallel. One beat the other into production. And probably some of the developers are probably in this room and senior architects are probably in this room, so I'm sure they're more aware of the story than I am. But literally the nature of our work, we were engaging with RSPs that were delivering work for us. We needed to manage the work that was being conducted. We needed to govern the work. We needed to oversee the payments, the invoices. So we needed to provide that visibility, that tracking, that audit trail of work within Appian. And so we basically implemented one after the other, a lot of development work that went in. And obviously when you produce any solution, there's continued enhancements so that they evolve, but they're very stable and they're still into production and they're very stable solutions for us. So we were able to very quickly provide solutions back to the business because we just could not cope in using legacy approaches that just didn't work for the volumes that we were talking about. Come 2017, prior to that I was managing 7 platforms and Appian was one of them. So when we came to 2017, we we've started to follow the safe agile methodology. And I remember my GM at the time said to me, Rainier, do you want to still stick with the 7 or do you want to stick with Appian? And I said, well, show me the architectural roadmap. And it was huge. And it was just a no-brainer just to continue on with Appian. So I dropped the other apps and continued with Appian, and we've scaled ever since. In 2017, we had 2 major transformation projects. And before I go into those details, immediately just talking to architecture and looking at their requirements, we knew that we had to scale. So we had to scale our environments to cope with standalone and monthly releases. Monthly releases for us is when we're integrated with other systems. We had to scale our licenses. We initially had acquired only 100 enterprise licenses, so that wasn't going to suit our purpose, especially when we were exposing Appian not only to our internal user base, but also to our external partners. And then we also had to scale from a delivery perspective. We had to hire more engineers through our partners. So 2017 was a huge year for us. We delivered major projects through that year, but the two major ones were new developments and enterprise Ethernet. And we could see that with new developments especially, it was about rolling out fibre to new development areas. And we could see that it was potential revenue growth for NBN. And so what we initially did is we touched base with the user base to understand how many touch points, in order to deliver this, what were the touch points that they were doing manually. We looked at the cycle times. We looked at how long an existing application would take from its inception to its fruition. And as Tara mentioned, there's various approaches to that. Not one size fits all. There are exceptions. And basically implementing Appian on this complex solution gave us that ability. And so we were able to successfully reduce the touch points. We were able to definitely reduce our cycle times and obviously provide potential revenue growth back to NBN. And it was similar nature to enterprise Ethernet as well. We provide different fibre speed tiers to our organisation. So Appian for us is an orchestrator between Salesforce and our fulfilment products. So it gives our customers, our internal customers, and as well as our DPs, our delivery partners, visibility, especially for our internal stakeholders. It gives them that visibility of where their orders are at. And we've recently integrated with Veritas, where it just basically, if there's an issue with an order, it gives us that visibility to see where that issue is and proactively act on it. So just to the scale of the numbers that we're talking about, we've got dashboards, we've got reporting, and the efficiencies that it's provided back to the business is just immeasurable.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that term. You mentioned this to me the other night as well, that term orchestrator, pulling together the workflow from all the various systems. That's got to be such a not only time saver, but just efficiency within the organization. Yeah. I got to believe that not only does this impact the customers, really for all of you, but having to report back because of how much you're under the microscope from a government perspective, right? And how they're expecting you to deliver services and timely. And I know there's a lot of political issues associated, so I'm sure it helps with that as well. So why don't we love to hear, talked a lot about where you've been on the journey. Maybe if we could switch gears a little bit now and talk about where you're going. And Rainey, I'll start with you and we'll kind of work this way. But if you can think about your vision relative to the next 1 or 2 years, what are your aspirations with regard to Appian? And then, quite honestly, would also love to hear from you around what is it that, what other outcomes would you like to see in partnering with Appian that we could help you drive?
In the last 6 years, we've created a number of bespoke solutions. We've created over 40 of them. And what was required back then and what was defined back then is not really relevant now, because as an organisation, you evolve. You created lots of products and lots of solutions. So what we're looking to do with Appian now is look at some of, especially our huge transformation projects like NDevs, new developments, and enterprise Ethernet, is to provide a seamless solution so that if we were to add additional products it doesn't require a lot of customization. So we're trying to provide consistency in the language and in the UI experience. And so what we're also doing, and what will be a success story for us in the next year, and I think I heard it in an earlier speech, was about the ability of exposing our APIs to our delivery partners so that they will continue to expand their processes on top of ours. And so with Appian, you know, it's heavily ingrained in our makeup, in our landscape, you know, so, you know, it's such an integral solution to, I don't think we could ever go back to where we were. But, you know, things like process mining is of interest, and, you know, it's something that we're looking to invest in so that we continue to optimize what we currently have. You know, we've got bots in the landscape, so they provide heaps of efficiencies for us. So our engagement with Appian will definitely continue and grow, that's for sure.
Love to hear that. Thank you. And thank you for all the efforts that you placed in over all these years.
Pleasure.
Tara, how about you?
Yeah, look, we're at the other extreme, Aranya, so thank you for leading by example. We're starting our journey, and we lovingly call our new Appian transformation program EAGLE internally. It's simply because we want to AGL everything. So that demonstrates very clearly the intent to the audience of where we're headed with this. So what are we confronted with currently? You know, 600 odd workflow processes that we immediately have on our list to automate. So we expect that the next 12, 18 months will be head down implementation of those. But in the spirit of thinking strategically, the next phase for us really is to bring about this ecosystem thinking and look at our data fabrics and look at how we orchestrate the various parts of our business to actually then run in a streamlined fashion. And we look to partner with Appian to help us get to those, you know, evolved stages like you are, as opposed to point and shoot manual paperwork, which we can see right now. So that in itself is a big shift, and if we're on that journey, that's what success looks like for us.
You said 600 processes that you're looking to automate
That's
at least.
600 we know of today.
Wow. So you're going to keep Luke and our team here very busy. You ready for that, Luke? All right. Yeah. No, that's great. Exciting. Jared, how about yourself?
I just want to build on what Tara's saying. I'm very excited about what's coming up. So I talked a little bit about the automation of the 3 ways that we wanted to leverage Appian for. There's obviously 2 more, and very much what Aran is saying, we want to use Appian as an orchestrator of a lot of our process. So that will be our core focus after the initial application. In addition to Luke, we'll be keeping Stu teams busy as well. On top of that, though, one of the things that I am really passionate about is, and what I'm hearing today about the theme, is about the citizen developer, but also the enablement of a competency center within Appian as well. So obviously at the moment, we're leveraging the professional service as well as our delivery partner, but longer term, the vision is that to bring that into the organization so that the business and within our tech and business people can work together to deliver outcomes faster. So I'll be leveraging a lot of the communities that we have here in terms of what's the best way to do that. It's a lot of things I'm excited about in the next 12 months.
That's terrific. Well, I know you all are in great hands with our team locally here, but you know where to find me now. So, you know, I expect to be, you know, intimately involved with all of your businesses as we move forward. Rainey, I want to thank you for the many years that you've been such a wonderful proponent, and what you've driven really helped challenge us and make us better. And Tara and Jared, thank you for joining the Appian family. We look forward to many years of a tremendous partnership together. So how about a warm round of applause for all of our panelists here?